Okay, great. We're moving into the emergence of social ventures. Just quickly introduce Jean Batman. She's very important to the venture group. She's been a great mentor to us, and as was Sajad, she's a good friend to all of us, so we appreciate her being here. And we introduce our next panel. Drew Clark got caught in a little traffic. He will show up during this panel, but let's go ahead and get going with it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jean Batman. Is this on? I don't know. I'm loud enough. I probably don't need it, but if you're recording. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm the founder of Legal Venture Counsel, which is a law firm here in San Francisco. I've been fortunate enough to be associated with the Venture Capital Club at Holt, which is right here in the neighborhood as well. And I'll be moderating what I'm sure will prove to be a very interesting panel for you guys this morning. The topic is turning altruism into good business, or if you're coming at it from the other direction, doing good is good business. What we're talking about here is the emergence of social ventures, and I think that with our very prestigious and diverse panel members, you'll see how people get to this type of investing from different directions. You'll hear some different terms which I think may mean slightly different things to different people, but are all within the arena that we're discussing here. You'll hear terms like commercial philanthropy, impact investing, and social venture, again with the idea all doing good is good business, or doing good and making money. So let me introduce the panel members. They may be too modest to tell you a lot about themselves, but I know they want to tell you a lot about their businesses and their firms and what they do. So let me give you an idea of who you'll be hearing from today. First of all, Wes Selk, who is a Harvard MBA, Haas School of Business, Berkeley MBA. Also has a business degree from University of Michigan. He's a chartered financial analyst. He's done work as a research associate. He's also done M&A work at Ernst & Young. And he's very actively involved in organizations that combat poverty and conserve wildlife. Next we have Patrick Gleason. He had the good fortune to grow up in Napa Valley. He studied marketing and has had the bulk of his career spent at American Vineyard Foundation and Silver Oak Cellars, where he had the opportunity to work with the Meyer family, and now he is with the Meyer Family Enterprises. He lives an active outdoor lifestyle with his family, running, biking, and skiing. Basically, he gets to enjoy his retirement while he's still working. Next we have Gautam. And the last name? Barua, I'm sorry. Gautam Barua. Okay. He's our Harvard MBA. He also graduated cum laude from Yale, where he focused on the quantitative interactions between global warming and international economics. Talk about heady stuff. Now he's in the area of biofuels, water, and waste to energy, focusing on environmental sustainability. I think an interesting part of his background, he's a former California Deputy State Controller, and he's a former Morgan Stanley investment banker. And finally, Drew Clark, who made it.
But don't hold any of that against him.
Right. Who battled traffic and has made it here in time. Drew has been with IBM for over 20 years. His educational background is in physics and plasma physics. He has 2 patents in software testing and artificial intelligence. And it'll be interesting to hear from the perspective of someone who's been in a large corporation in various capacities, how they approach this area. So what I'm going to do now is give each of the panel members an opportunity to talk about the topic, just briefly introduce it from the perspective of their own company or firm, and then we're going to have a generous question and answer interactive discussion. So we'll start with Wes.
Thanks, Jane. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Good. You guys staying dry out there? Good. I also battled some traffic today, as I think all of us did. So as Gene said, I'm Wes Selke, and I'm the investment manager at Good Capital, and we're a social venture fund, impact investment fund based here in San Francisco. Been around since about 2006, and really involved in a number of different things. Sort of initially, three things I want to kind of talk about quickly about what we're doing. One is a venture fund that we launched in 2006, and then a conference that we launched in 2008 called the Social Capital Markets Conference. We got a little shout out there in the front. And then thirdly, the Hub, which is a physical space here in San Francisco as well as in Berkeley, where change really goes to work and social entrepreneurs work together. And then lastly, Hub Ventures, which is a new 12-week accelerator program for early stage social ventures that we're about to launch in about 2 days. So Good Capital originally launched in 2006 and launched a social venture fund. The three founders of Good Capital were Tim Freundlich from Calvert, Kevin Jones, who was a serial entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, and Joy Anderson, who was sort of a philanthropic and social venture consultant from the East Coast. Kind of came together and saw sort of a really big opportunity to fill a gap in the marketplace for social ventures. So these are for-profit and nonprofit organizations that are running business models that have sort of the triple bottom line approach, that are trying to tackle sort of major social and environmental issues, but through a business model. And there was a big gap in the marketplace for funding for these kind of organizations. For-profit organizations had a hard time getting venture capital, growth capital, because of the social missions that they were trying to employ through their business models. And then on the nonprofit side, the nonprofit social ventures oftentimes had a hard time getting capital from even from foundations, because of their sort of, even though they're a nonprofit, more of a sort of a business-minded approach to doing good. So there's a big gap in the marketplace. However, there seemed to be a really big demand for this kind of growth capital from the companies that needed it. So we spent the summer in 2006 really doing a lot of research around what does the demand look like for this kind of capital. And we found, just based on a lot of primary and secondary research over about a 3-month period, that we easily came across over $100 million of demand across the U.S. for this kind of capital, and that was just based on our own research, which indicated to us that there was a big opportunity to start a fund, which we subsequently did in late 2006, early 2007, started raising a venture fund. And that fund has since invested in 4 companies, 3 for-profit companies, 1 nonprofit. A good example of one of the companies that we've invested in is a company called Better World Books. And it's a great triple bottom line company based in Atlanta with a warehouse up in Mishawaka, Indiana, that is essentially repurposing used textbooks and other types of books that are collected via campus book drives on college campuses, as well as public and academic libraries around the country. They collect in these books, they resell them online, their own website, as well as across a number of marketplaces like Amazon and eBay. And when they sell these books that they typically collect for $0, and then sell for anywhere from $30 to $50 for a lot of these textbooks, and take about 10% of that revenue generated and send it back to nonprofit literacy organizations that are helping them run the book drives in college campuses. So it's this nice virtuous loop where the nonprofits help collect the books for Better World Books. Better World Books have sort of the operations to take in the books, warehouse them, inventory, and put them up online to sell. And then when they do sell them, send a cut back to the nonprofit literacy organizations. This is today a $60 million revenue business. Has given out $10 to $12 million to their nonprofit literacy groups. They work with Books for Africa, Room to Read in Southeast Asia, Invisible Children in Africa. They work also with the National Council for Family Literacy here in the U.S. Really great business that is really across the triple bottom line, trying to maximize value for both profitability as well as social impact with the focus on literacy, and also with repurposing books and keeping them out of landfills. So it's a great example of the kind of businesses that we focus on. And our engagement at Good Capital is to really be very hands-on with our companies. That's kind of one of the nice things about having a smaller fund and a smaller company for us is to be able to really spend a lot of time. We're on the boards of all of our companies and really engage with them. And one of the reasons we started Good Capital was we saw this demand, but we also saw a need for a different sort of mindset that would sort of come alongside these social ventures and social entrepreneurs and really partner with them and help them grow the businesses within the context of maximizing their social and environmental impact. And that includes lots of things all the way down to sort of how we look at exit strategies. We've typically, most of our term sheets, negotiated in sort of alternative paths to liquidity after 5 years, which would enable us to get money out of the business without forcing a sale of the company or an IPO of the company. Just try to navigate the complexities of how do we, as a venture capital fund, get money back without putting at risk the social mission that we've helped build and really help accelerate for these companies. We've also invested in a number of fair trade organic businesses. Alter Eco is a great fair trade food business here in San Francisco. Adina for Life is another great business started by Greg Steltenpole, founder of Odawalla, also based in San Francisco, selling organic fair trade beverages. And so we've been running this fund now for a number of years, and just real quickly, we also saw a big opportunity to really help build this space. We saw that things were happening in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, and there were a few conferences that sort of addressed this, the Skoll Forum over in Oxford every year. But we saw a really big opportunity to help really build this marketplace, and that's why Kevin Jones launched the Social Capital Markets Conference in 2008, and now we're going into our 4th year this year with 2 conferences this year, one in Amsterdam coming up in late May, and then back in San Francisco in September. And it's really grown rapidly. Last year we had about 1,500 people at the conference, and it's an opportunity for people from all over the country and all over the world to come together, talk about social venture investing, introducing social entrepreneurs to investors, talk about issues of sort of wealth management and how do we sort of tap into what's been tagged as about $120 billion worth of demand on the investor side that wants to come into this space, but doesn't really know how to get into this space and is typically being managed by wealth managers that maybe don't know a lot about investment opportunities in the space. So the conference is a chance for us to talk about all those kind of issues. And then about a year and a half ago, we launched the Hub, which, as I mentioned, are physical spaces for social entrepreneurs to come together and work on a daily basis. So SoCap is kind of where people come together once a year. The Hub is a place for people to come together on a daily basis to collaborate, to have serendipitous encounters with one another, to really kind of work together and have a place that they can call home. And we've really developed a really incredible ecosystem in SOMA and in Berkeley. And this is really a sort of franchise federated model from a company called The Hub, which started in London back in 2005, which is now a global network of about 25 plus hubs all around the world, a lot in Europe, several in the developing world, now 3 in the US, 2 here, 1 in Atlanta, and now there are now teams in other parts of the country that are looking to start hubs in LA, Chicago, New York, Seattle, a few other places. And we're up to about 800 members now between the 2 hubs, and it's really taken off. And there's been lots of requests for starting hubs in other parts of the Bay Area, including Oakland, including Silicon Valley and North Bay. So we're looking at going into those places eventually. And then lastly, I just want to quickly mention Hub Ventures, which is a new 12-week accelerator program that we're about to launch. This is another area that we've seen an incredible amount of demand from early stage companies that are looking to get access to capital and get access to resources and services to help navigate that early stage process. And we're teaming up with Village Capital out of Atlanta to do this 12-week accelerator program that's going to really help these early stage social ventures get access to funding and get access to the resources that they need to be successful and accelerate to that next level. So thanks a lot. I'm happy to be here.